right. I think the volume might be working this time. I'm hoping. I know I'm just popping on out of nowhere. Maybe somebody will come in. Let's see. Testing. Testing. Is this thing on? Hey, Dan. Is this thing on? Wow, I figured it out. I'm far from it. But I'm learning. You know, I'm not that bad. I'm just glad you could hear me. My God. Why is my hat so crooked? I don't know. I didn't have the microphone selected, I think. But it should have worked. I don't know. But hopefully it'll work now. I'm wearing a microphone. So that should sound a bit better. Now, where were we? I did not train today. Believe it or not, I shoveled the other day and I hurt something in the back of my shoulder. So I had to take, I'm going to have to take off a couple of days just so it doesn't become more of an injury. I'm fragile, as they say. Did anyone else train today? Yeah, it's part of the game, Dan. You know, it's unbelievable. I think I should be better by Tuesday. Yeah, a lot of people take a little bit of time off this time of the year. I mean, it doesn't really bother me because I mean, it's my MCL is pretty much better, but now I have more time to help that recover as well, to further recover. Hey, Larry, I started at 36, but I already had a martial arts background, like from Kung Fu. How is your fitness level? Larry Bird was an awesome basketball player, very entertaining. Yeah, I bought the Anaconda. They were on sale. Now I have like 4 of them. They also make a shoulder brace. Soon I'll be covered in Anaconda wear with like an old style football helmet, the little leather football helmet. Because that's how much armor I'm starting to need. So somebody was asking, what was your question before, Brian? Yeah, just wear 2 Anaconda shoulder braces. I almost feel like I need like knee pads and elbow pads because I'm tall and lanky and I'm always banging my elbow off the wall or my knee off a couch. All right, you're in shape, Larry. Yeah, you should be fine. You can come into jiu-jitsu out of shape, but it just makes things seem so much harder. So if you already have a regular good baseline of fitness, you should have no problem. Hey, Luke, I do not. I take a protein powder. I do like a couple of scoops of protein powder a day. That's the only supplement. I'm not anti anything. I just, do what I like. I don't like to take a lot of things. I take aspirin sparingly. Oh, the first 10 lessons. I mean, that's That question's a little bit too long for this live stream. Tripod passing when using the gi. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good no matter what. Am I missing something? My no gi game and my gi game is very similar, except when it comes to the collar chokes and those type of setups. But as far as bodily control, like if you always use your hands and grips to control when you're in the gi, you're going to have hand problems one day. So learn how to wrap around your partner. Don't just hold on to someone's collar for the whole round, you know? Well, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to when you say tripod passing. Oh, over under. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fine with either. I would say it's probably easier with the gi because you could actually grab. Dan, you're like his attorney. I'm not a big over under passer. I do it, I use it. I learned it from Bernardo, actually. Bernardo was at Marcelo's, and before he left to go to Boston, like one of his last classes, he taught his over under system, which is really cool to learn it from him. Oh, you mean safer as far as well, you shouldn't be falling into a triangle if that's what you mean with the over under. If you're doing it that way and you're landing and you're being triangled, you're doing it wrong. There's a lot of nuance to that move. And Bernardo won many world championships with just that move. Okay, great question. How long did it take for me to reach blue belt? I reached blue belt in 3 years, but when I first started, I was doing mostly no-gi and like MMA-oriented jiu-jitsu. So that was in 2008. So it took me 3 years, but now, years ago, you didn't get your blue belt right away. It took, I would say, 3 to 5 years. I knew guys that were training for 5 years that the guy didn't give them a blue belt yet. There was more weight in the rank. Now it just means you're not a beginner anymore. So I think it kind of changed as the belts became slightly watered down. So now you see people getting a blue belt in a year. So, yeah, I mean, 2 to 3 times a week for 10 months, you know, you figure in the next 5 to 6 months. Yeah, I knew guys 5 years didn't get a blue belt. I remember and I thought they were good. I mean, I was a white belt, so what did I know? But to me, a blue belt means that you know the language of jiu-jitsu. You can speak jiu-jitsu. Can you write high-level poems? Can you write a novel? No, but you have a basic understanding of jiu-jitsu. That's what a blue belt means to me. When you first start as a white belt, a blue belt seems like a very advanced rank, but it's still a beginner rank, in my opinion. That's where I practice all my offense, usually. Yes, winning competitions help you get promoted faster, definitely, because you're measuring up against the other belts at that level and you're proving it by competing. It's not just rolling, we don't know how hard you're going, or it's hard. It's easier to judge how good you are if you're going to tournaments and you're winning. There's no doubt about it. Also, if you're competing and you're winning all the time at blue belt and your teacher doesn't promote you, that's basically sandbagging because you've already proven that you can win at that belt many times. I have to say, I like this format, guys. I'm pretty excited about this. Next time, I'll try to make a specific topic to talk about. Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. There's no way that guy's a black belt. And I'm glad you brought that up, Larry. Because to be a black belt, it's not just a skill thing, believe it or not. And it's not just who you can beat. So you might have a high level of skill, but you can't prove it because you're getting overpowered, right? And then we got to just look at the skill. But even if you just look at the skill, a black belt is given based on amount of time training, overall amount of time training, and dedication to an academy. But even BJ Penn didn't get his black belt that fast, and he was a natural. You know, he was called, he's the natural BJ Penn. So there's no way that guy is a black belt. I don't care who he's training with. The Prodigy. The Prodigy. Yes. Thank you. I stand corrected. I think it's very hard to get a purple belt in 3 years. Lapel guard. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's okay. I'm not a lapel guard player, though. I do use it some occasionally, and it's great for gi if you're competing and you want to, win. And yeah, I think lapel guard could definitely help. Is it good for self-defense? Probably not. But that I would consider that more of a sport guard. Yeah, John Danaher has a different thing for what he thinks a blue belt is. Yes, you should know escapes, but sometimes if the guy outweighs you by 100 pounds, maybe you can escape. So I don't know how he judges that exactly. Yeah, Ben's Dev, me too. It took me 3 years, and I definitely wasn't talented. Have I used BJJ or martial arts in a real life situation? Have I used it in real life? What's funny is I've done most of my fighting before I started training, and that's kind of what led me to training because I had so much angst, I had so much rage and testosterone that I needed to release. Even till today, if I miss a couple of weeks of class, my wife says, you're getting crazy. But have I used it? I'm trying to remember. No, I haven't used BJJ. I had a fist fight with a friend. I mean, I don't know if you consider that using martial arts, but there was no BJJ used. Yeah, man, Mellow Mike, he got his brown belt. Mellow Mike got his brown belt, and he got it only after. He's only been training a few years, like maybe 4 years, something like that. Wrestling techniques in jiu-jitsu, yeah, it's fine, especially in no-gi. I mean, you definitely need it. I think you need it more in no-gi than gi because it becomes a wrestling match. That's why they call no-gi. When I started, it was called submission wrestling. Yeah, BJJ with the kids is fine. Just remember to let go when they tap. Yeah, John Danaher, I love it. I think he's got great opinions. My coach, Mike Codella, was there when John Danaher was like a blue belt. So Mike Codella, my coach, got his black belt from Henzo in I don't know, the late 90s or something, or the early 2000s, which is hard to imagine. Hey, Jeff, good to see you on here. I was in Albuquerque once. Yeah, I went to West Texas and I landed there, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I was in the area, and I loved Breaking Bad, by the way. So I'm a fan. Wide open skies, wide open highways. Yeah, pinning's super important. But a blue belt should just have a working knowledge in every position. He doesn't have to be a spider guard master or anything like that. He just has a working knowledge in your basic positions. He needs to know how to escape a closed guard, things like that. Yeah, Jeff. I love West Texas, so I've been there 3 times actually, and I'm not a big traveler, so it's interesting that I was able to get out there 3 times. I did a couple of weddings in Texas. I love that whole area, the whole Southwest. The people are great. Everybody's so friendly. I met a woman in the supermarket with my friend, a regular nice woman, and she invited me and my friend, because she knew we weren't from around there, to have dinner with her family. So if you did that in New York, so they would call the police, right? Jeff, hit me with a question. So yeah, if this works out, I'll probably do this at least once a week. So we could exchange knowledge, exchange information, discuss current jiu-jitsu events. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how much time I give. Until I feel comfortable with it, but I never really move on. I just kind of add it to my game. Well, I am not, just to be clear, I am not an instructor at the school. I am not an owner of the school. So it's not up to me to have a 50 and over open mat. But if a school in the New York area wants to host one, I would love to come and, help maybe get people to come and help, also get their school on the map more. Yeah, I mean, instructionals all day. I still watch them. Yeah, 100%. I seek what I'm interested in. If you don't just watch random instructionals, you have to kind of make a game plan for yourself. So if you look, one of my videos is about what white belts should focus on when they first start training. So you got to look at that video, and then you want to learn those things in that order and look for videos that help you specifically with things that you're struggling with. Older grapplers. I don't know. I don't think there should be a difference in your age. Older, younger, you should train the same way. And it shouldn't be in an explosive way where you're jumping around and hitting your partner with a lot of unexpected things and fast gestures. So I think that we should all kind of have the same game. Like all the good black belts I know, they don't move a lot. It's like they're a statue. They don't move a lot, and when they do, they get into an advantageous situation. I did not get pressure when I got my blue because I was in a school with a lot of new white belts, and I already had a couple of years experience. So by the time I got my blue, it was way overdue. And yeah, I was handling the white belts pretty well at that point. ABC, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm actually surprised with the turnout on this. I thought I was going to do a live stream and be sitting here by myself. So thanks for coming out. Yeah, I mean, Jeff, it feels fun to try to match that pace, definitely. And you'll see sometimes I move fast, but it depends on the partner, right? So if the partner already knows your game a little bit, you guys can turn it up because you're not going to hurt each other. If you're going against a guy that you don't know and he's rolling competitively, it could lead to injury in sparring. Yeah, I was thinking, I seen a channel where he was charging for to break down people's videos. I mean, I could do something like that maybe, Dan. What martial art would I start after the age of 60? I don't know. I mean, it depends on your athletic ability. I mean, Tai Chi is always good. Yeah, explosive when necessary, but not where you're going to knee your opponent in the face, things like that. You know what I mean, Jeff? No, you can't. Don't look at the belt ranks as you have to feel pressure. I have a video where a white belt tapped me. I mean, he weighed 380 pounds and he could have been on Game of Thrones, but it just goes to show, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could still be submitted by somebody that just started out. It just becomes, if you feel a lot of pressure, it's more of an ego thing. Right. There's an Olympic swimmer. I used to train with a climber that was really good. Yeah, Larry, I did actually, obviously I did Kung Fu for 10 years before this. I also did Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, I did MMA and kickboxing and boxing, a lot of kickboxing, and all with top instructors. I trained kickboxing with Koban. I did Shaolin Kung Fu with monks. So yeah, I mean, I love stand-up, but lately I've just been focusing on Jiu-Jitsu for a long time. BJJ Money Rolls. What's up, Gil? What's funny? I was going to message you and tell you to come on the live stream. So Gil has been on the channel. He's a blue belt at the academy. Have I ever lost my temper when rolling? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. At my old school, another older brown belt came to visit that I was friends with from Marcelo's. And the guy, went crazy on me in the roll. So I got mad and I think he got mad. So it did happen to me once, and it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, that's cool, Brian. Brian, you're not a big guy either. So if you're going to always struggle, especially at these lower levels. Once you become a proficient purple or brown belt, bigger guys and younger guys and new guys aren't going to submit you. I remember when I think I was a good white belt. I was training for a couple of years, and like this new guy started. He had a bandana. He didn't know anything, but he outweighed me by 50 pounds, and I couldn't get him off me. My friend was making fun of me. Hey, 57-year-old three-stripe blue belt. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I mean, I was a purple belt for 7 years. You know, I switched schools, COVID, you know, teacher that didn't like me. I didn't have surgeries, but I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever, did I ever use my jiu-jitsu? Not that I can think of. No, I haven't used it in a road rage or a live. I don't road rage. I don't look at anyone. But back in the 90s, I pretty much invented road rage. You know, I would be like, what are you staring at? You know, I would get into confrontations all the time. And I think that once I started training, I think they sense it on you. And you know, these things really, you know, people kind of avoid you. They don't even want to insult you in many cases, you know. So I haven't, Lone Star. I don't think people should cut a lot of weight. You know, I think it's silly, but it's up to them. Hey, you know, I'm not a big competitor. I'm not even into competing. I don't think that you have to compete, because what I notice when I go to competitions is everybody's walking around in a cast or an arm sling, or they got their head taped up. And I'm thinking to myself, for what? If I'm going to get injured, it's going to be fighting for a real person, you know? But again, I'm not putting them down, you know. But where I come from, you know, I've had street fights. I think a lot of guys that compete, they never had a fight. And then they love competing and they think it's a fight, but it's not really quite the same thing. Hey, Gil. Yeah, I'd love to have you on the channel. I'll interview you if you want. Gil does BJJ money rolls. It's kind of an idea out here on Staten Island. I'm gonna let him speak for it. Thank you, ABC. I appreciate that. So when you're just starting jiu-jitsu, I would say 2 times a week is enough in the beginning. It depends on how much of a knucklehead you are. Like if you like to go crazy and you don't understand going easy yet. But if you go in with the right mindset and you could chill, you could get away with 3 times a week. The problem will be you'll be too sore. So I would say 2 to 3 times a week. And then after 6 months, as your jiu-jitsu fitness goes up and your skill level goes up, you can make it 4 times a week. 3 times a week's, I think, the sweet spot. Hey, Scott. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you had a good question. I don't remember. I was so distracted. Yes, I should do more post-roll techniques, kind of like what I did in that last video with the white belt. So I don't want it to be like, I want it to be just live. Like if you notice, a lot of guys, they show technique, but they never roll because they don't want to show when they're losing in a roll or when it was even with a blue belt that's 25 years younger. They don't want to look bad. So for me, I always felt like I wanted my content to be pure. Like I'm not just teaching the technique, I'm explaining my whole thought process behind everything that I'm doing. But yes, I will teach some technique. But I feel like when people look for technique videos, they're looking to world champions. Yeah, Jeff. So actually, I'm going to Vietnam. I'm going to be training in Vietnam. I'm going to be training in Tokyo in February. So I'm going to be doing a little Southeast Asia. Hopefully, I'll have videos for you from 3 different schools. The guy in Tokyo is a Masters champion, a Masters 6. Yeah, I would, if I was a white belt and I didn't know where to go with like what I was learning, I would look to just make a good close guard, work on your close guard and your guard passing. Or if you have something specific you want to ask me, like about something that might not be working for you or something you're thinking about developing. Hey, love from the UK. You know, there's so many of you guys that have been so supportive from there. It's been really incredible. Scott, what's my favorite submission? A submission I could hit with no effort. That's my answer. Dan, I definitely want to come. My wife went to Japan first, so when she has to be back if I go, because we need somebody to watch my cat. Like, I had to hire somebody to stay at my house while I'm gone to watch my cat. But I'd love to, brother. Scott, this is Big Scott, right? Who's not so big anymore, who I said was svelte the other day. Am I talking to the right one? Yeah, I mean, I just love rolling easy. And when you hit something, it feels so good. It's like, wow, I use the actual technique, right? Instead of just like passing someone's guard, ripping the Americana, like, that's not so Big Scott anymore. Scott's a big, handsome personal trainer, Scott Crestline, and he's been on the channel, and he competes now, and he's an all-around swell fella. And he's always been a fan of the channel, and I appreciate that, Scott. Yeah, actually, we have to roll again, 100%. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Ben. Ben's Dev Journey, is that an account with your wife? If you've been blue for 3.5 years, then we should just look at, what holes, what deficiencies are in your game, and just fill them. And as far as plateaus definitely exist for a reason, right? You got to go along the plateau for a while, and then you get that little bump up in skill. So plateaus are unavoidable, and you're not really doing anything wrong by being on one. Step over Enva. You know what, Wise King? That's a better answer. Yeah, step over Enva, but only when I get it easily. Again, but yes, I would say step over Enva is my favorite submission. You're right. I'll concede to that. Oh, a software development channel. All right, cool, man. I'll have to check it out. I always try to support, anybody that subscribes to me, look at their channel. As long as it's reasonable. There's some skill developed, or there's some knowledge I can derive. So I didn't make any changes going from blue to purple, but I did focus on things where I was deficient. And the main thing was being more calm and relaxed, 100%. Oh, all right. I'm going to check it out. Hey, I was in Baltimore not that long ago. It was a great city. I mean, there was a couple of, when we turned off the highway, it was a bad area, but then we had this Airbnb up near a park. I did a wedding down there. Thank you, Coach. When I started in 2008, my teacher was a purple belt, the instructor, the owner of the school, because there weren't any black belts in New York. There was like Henzo. There was like not a lot of teachers. Yeah, I mean, the neighborhood near the park was really nice. It had a good Mexican food right next to the park, and the park itself was cool. That big, it's like a Central Park for Baltimore, I guess. You know what? I bought a knife at the store, and I bought like weapons. I was in a deli or something. They sell everything. Yes, Patterson Park, brother. Yeah, Jeff, the breath control, again, if you're just using technique, you're not going to run out of breath. You shouldn't be gasping for air, unless you're competing. If you're competing, you're giving it your all, that's different. But when you're rolling, you shouldn't be gasping for air. I am not a black belt, Andy. Thank you, but I am not a black belt. I'm a brown belt. I'm an old brown belt. Hopefully, I'll get my black belt one day soon, but thank you, Andy. If I have an excuse to go to Baltimore, I mean, just if you want to give a shout out to your school there. Yeah, I don't think there's much. People usually don't have a big game as a white belt because you're just still learning everything. So you don't really know what you like yet, right? But after a while, yes, a game should be developed. I think the game development is more at blue and purple belt, personally. It could be as late as purple belt, where you start realizing what you like to do. But first, you have to see all the techniques. So again, by watching videos that are specific to problems that you're having when you're rolling, I think it's that easy. And YouTube is an incredible resource. Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of schools over the years where I taught jiu-jitsu as a white belt, but I wasn't teaching jiu-jitsu. It was more about kung fu, kickboxing, MMA, like that type of thing. And then, you know, I was already like a couple of year white belt in jiu-jitsu. But no, I'm not. I want to teach, yes. Ideally, one day, I'll tell you my secrets. I would love to open a school in like Tokyo or Vietnam, because I'm probably going to be in Southeast Asia eventually. Method MMA, it's out the right. I get you. Yeah, I did a wedding. It was in like a harbor at like some catering hall in like the Bay. But Baltimore is a great town. I also had breakfast in the military base there, and it was awesome. Everybody that was there was like blue collar, and the breakfast was delicious. You're welcome. I hope that hurt. I hope that helped, Caleb. Hurt. Thank you, Neon Joe. I mean, this is definitely good for you. But Scott, I mean, it depends. I mean, I have to roll with you to really analyze, you know, I haven't really watched you. Andy, it's all about hand fighting. The problem is in the beginning, you don't know what you're looking for anyway. So your hand fighting, even if you're winning the hand fighting, it's just going to be annoying for your partner. And then, you know, it's better for you defensively in the beginning, I think. Yeah, everything 2-in-1 reinforced grips. You always want redundancy. Everything you do in life, you want redundancy. If you're flying a jetliner, the jetliner has many redundancies, right? It doesn't just have one engine. You're welcome, Method MMA. Wow, 61. That's tough. Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. I mean, you know, when I started, I remember like one of the guys in the gym was like in his 40s, and like we thought that was old, you know, like, or his late 40s, you know, back 15 years ago. Now we got guys starting, you know, there was a jiu-jitsu granny. I think she was like 75. She's super cool. I talked to her on Instagram. The most well-adjusted person I've ever spoken to. No, the coach and the owner should roll with the students. Stand-up is important, more important when competing in no gi. In gi, you could just pull guard. Or it depends on the tournament formats. But I think for the most part, in gi, you don't need to have like a great stand-up game. Because you're using, if you want the jiu-jitsu to start, you want to get your partner on the floor. But you could do that by coming in and sweeping them. They have to engage with you in jiu-jitsu if you're doing a gi. Or no-gi. In no-gi, they could just stand up. It's a lot easier, and then wrestling becomes more important. But, you know, stand-up's important. But, you know, it's to what level do you want to hone your stand-up? You know, if you're worried about a street confrontation, you don't have to have like a very high level of stand-up. Boxing, you'd be better off with anyway. Wow, you're one of your boys, meaning your son, he lives in Tokyo? What school is he at? I'm probably training in the suburb when I go this time, but eventually I'll train more in the city. I'm going to be training more in Vietnam. I like the step over armbar, and I also have the, I'm talking to you, Lone Star, and I also have the submission from the bottom, the no arm triangle. I think I have a video on that. Yeah, Scott, I owe you, man. You've always supported the channel, and you know, you always talk so kindly to me, and I really appreciate you. Yeah, I always say, Jeff, you know, for anybody coming out of drugs or whatever, jujitsu is amazing. I don't see it as this therapeutic thing. It's just something I need in my life, but not for therapy. I have a good life. You know, I don't need. Oh yeah, the jujitsu granny, she's awesome. She's so like I said, just so sweet, well adjusted. I mean, you know what type of good attitude you have to be to go on the mats as an old lady? You know, I hate to refer to her that way. I don't say it in a negative way, but you know. Yeah, strength and conditioning. Yeah, so I do a lot of hiking. I also ride an electric skateboard, and for the last year, I started weightlifting. So I do I every when I come home after class, I do bench presses, pickups, squats, and sit ups. I'll do like 5 sets, and I have two different workouts that I do. I have a curl and shoulder workout that I do on the other day. So 4 days a week, I work out with weights, do squats. Hmm. Yeah, I would say 90% of my roles are exploratory. Once in a while, I get into a pissing match with somebody, which isn't a negative thing. I don't do it because I'm angry, but you know, I'll go against a guy that's being more competitive. Maybe he's arrogant. Maybe I want to teach him a lesson. So yeah, sometimes I try to win, and I try to win when I'm being exploratory. I don't just let people walk all over me, but I just do it in a manner that's a little bit with my foot off the gas. Well, new guys don't work on their escapes. That's the major thing. So you really want to get the escapes in the beginning, especially from side control. But it's tough to tell a newbie to work on his escapes when he doesn't have a guard, he doesn't have guard passing. Yeah, she's a badass. I never lifted weights, Lone Star. I just started a year ago because I'm not using a lot of effort in jujitsu, and then I realized that my body, you know, needed a little bit more muscle. Frank from New Zealand. Wow. I'd love to get out there. Thank you. Yeah, this is perfect for you, brother. Yeah, I understand about the injuries. I understand. It's hard when you're 61. You know, I want to tell you, oh, yeah, everything's going to be okay. But even look at me, I'm getting injured. I'm 53. So the problem by starting at that age is you don't know what's happening. And then, you know, you get knee on bellied and, you know, you have all these different things that happen that you can't stop. You're getting smashed. You know, you get your rib popped. I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong when you're 61. The best thing I could say to you is just go with partners that respect your age and aren't being overly competitive. Are also great partners. Well, you shouldn't lift so much weight or whatever that you're sore. I try not to go crazy. Like I bench press, like when I peak out, I start with like 20 and I go up to like 35s or 40 like that. Joint soreness. Well, continued blessings, brother. Yeah, injuries take long to heal, depending on the severity. Yeah, it's easy to say, you know, sometimes you got to roll with people that go a little crazy because you got to, and what you do with someone who's going crazy is let them pass your guard, right? I don't want to have this intense guard passing battle with a guy that's going nuts because he could blow out your knee. Who knows what's going to happen? Let him pass your guard and then work your defense. That's my advice for that. Yeah, push-ups and pull-ups are fine. That's all fine. I mean, whatever works for you. You're welcome, brother. Shout out to Oliver BJJ, Browns Bay, Auckland, New Zealand. You guys are always talking about color, right? The Black Zillions. Do you know the Black Zillions? I trained with the main guy, one of the stars from that team. Big guy. Dreadlocks. I forget his name, but I've seen highlight video of him running people over. But he came to Marcelo's and trained with us. BJJ, hey Emily. BJJ is my favorite, one of my female fans. I'm just focusing on it more lately. I kind of got bored with stand-up. I mean, stand-up does not have the complexity that jiu-jitsu has. Plus, I did it for 10 years, 11 years. So that's why I think I'm focused on it. I never took testosterone. I never felt the desire. I mean, when I was under 40, I never would have even thought about it, I've always been very high. I have too much. I should probably start donating. Because look at my face, look at my hair. I'm covered in hair. I'm like a wolf man. Shout out to Fight Factory, Professor Scott Clausen, Salisbury, North Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina is a good place to be, man. Favorite pizza place on Staten Island? I enjoy Amici, which is in Tottenville, and also Il Forno. Those are my two favorites, but there are a million other good places. Some Brothers Pizza, or some Pat and John's. I can't remember all the names, but those two I like in my area. I did not. Did I roll with the Gracies? No, but I've rolled with Gianni Grippo, Mateus Danuz, Marcelo Garcia. Trying to think. Cal Uno. If you know who he is, BJ Penn knocked him out in 10 seconds 100 years ago. But Cal Uno's a real good guy and a really tough fighter. His no-gi was amazing. He destroyed me. But he was a purple belt in gi, and I was able to kind of be more even with him at the time. So I haven't rolled. No, I guess I haven't rolled with any of the Gracies. Sometimes guys, yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes I think guys they don't want to get embarrassed or whatever. So sometimes if you notice in some of my videos, my partner is really turning it on. But I would say that's unusual. I would say 99% of the time, guys just roll me the way they always do. If they know me. Some guys don't know me, and then, you see that in the videos. I don't know. UFC BJJ, I mean, yeah, I think it's cool, but I don't think jiu-jitsu is going to work as a spectator sport. I think we're hitting a peak right now. I remember when I was a skateboarder. I mean, guys were making millions skateboarding, and guess what? It disappeared, right? So I think jiu-jitsu is having its peak in popularity right now, believe it or not. So I'm not sure, I wish the UFC BJJ well, but I think also they're signing people and they're making them be exclusive, and that's going to be an issue for them because you want to be able to let your athletes make money doing other events. So I'm going to kill this stream, and you got 17 minutes. I think I've been answering the questions pretty well, right? I'm quick. I do not have any kids, and that's because I've spent my life trying to be the best martial artist I could be. I had a heartbreak in my 20s, and then I just dove into martial arts training, and I was doing Kung Fu. I mean, when I was training Kung Fu, it was the same thing as Jiu-Jitsu, 3 to 5 days a week. I've been on that schedule for 28 years. And I regret it. Just so you know, I recommend to people, have kids, have them young, even if it doesn't work out, even if you're not ready financially. You procreated, you created a human being. Well, jiu-jitsu is not what we expect. That's a fact. It's not what we expect. Nothing is. Everything I've ever gotten into, once you get into it and you get into the nooks and crannies, it's not what you think it is. DJing, photography. I could go on and on. I have not competed. No, in ADCC, no, I have not competed. Don't worry about training. Look, you train when you can. I think having kids is more important. I mean, at the younger ages, I'm not an expert, but it sounds to me, like if you need to spend more time, just train 1 day a week. Just get in as much as you can. You can call yourself a martial artist when you spend, I don't know. That's a good question. It's like anything else, right? Like when can somebody call themselves a skateboarder? When can somebody call themselves a DJ? I think after you've been doing it for a while. If you've been doing it for a year or two and you've been devoted to something, you're a martial artist. My body is usually never sore after rolling. I roll, it depends. Again, lately it's been like 2 to 3 times a week. All right, yeah. 7 weeks ago, yeah, that's when I was starting to feel better. I mean, not great, but that's when I put the brace back on and went back to class. I have not trained in Henzo's, but I want to. I heard they don't allow cameras, but I'm not sure about that. But I've been invited by students, and I'm going to go eventually for sure. He lets us train there for free too, because we're Mike Codella's students. I'm surprised at the turnout. I mean, there's 26 people in the chat. I just noticed, which is making me nervous. No, Andy, because I don't go berserk. What happens sometimes is if I've had a lot of hard rounds, maybe I have like a kind of like bruising type soreness, but not a muscle soreness. Yeah, I would love to open my own school, like I was saying before, in either Tokyo or Vietnam, not in America. Rolling with larger opponents, stay on top. Is that because you're worried about your respiratory issues? If I were you, I would avoid large opponents for now as a 50-year-old white belt. Hey, Chris, you're 35, but you feel 50? Huh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Lone Star. I used to work in finance, and we had to talk a lot on the phone and answer questions and deal with issues. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I have a lot of subscribers, but in all honesty, I'm getting a good view hours, but watch time, as we say, but not a good amount of views. I would like to open a school in Hoi An or Da Nang in Vietnam, or in a suburb of Tokyo in Japan. I think I don't know. I don't look at a lot of other people like, I never thought of it that way. Why are there so few channels like mine? I think a lot of people don't want to put every roll up because they don't want to show when they lose. They don't want to insult people. Oh God, I like King's Kimonos. What would my school be called? I used to train at a school called Elements, and I always thought that was a cool name for a school. And that school's no longer in business. And then as an homage to them, I might possibly think of that as a name. Favorite gear, like I said, King's Kimonos. What else do I like? Well, I love X Marshall for no gi. I mean, X Marshall, Tap House has great gis. I know I'm plugging my sponsors, but it's true. I'm not sponsored by people I don't like, that I don't like their stuff. Pizza outside my area? It's not good. Yeah, it's never that good. I'm always disappointed. Favorite current show on TV? I don't really watch TV. I've been rewatching The Sopranos, actually. So I've seen it 100 times, and I'm watching it 101 because I like to go back into that time before we were all glued to our cell phone. And when I was in my mid-20s. I can't believe it's been that long since it's been on. So yeah, I've been watching The Sopranos. I love Breaking Bad. If you want like recommendations, there's a show, Rome. If you guys haven't seen the HBO show Rome, I highly recommend it. Also, Deadwood was good. My weight right now, 183, which is pretty much my ideal weight. Okay, Andy. Yeah. I'm not saying, I have this great voice, but you have to have like a good voice, because I've seen a lot of people are doing the channel like the way I'm doing it now. And when I watch them, I go, it's your voice isn't appealing. And then what they're talking about, that they're too focused on the technique, and many times their technical depth isn't that good. I love The Sopranos, Jeff. Same here. Mobland. No, I don't. Who's Taylor Sheridan? It's like talking to your grandfather. Who's that? What's that? I'll look it up, runner. Okay, yeah, I wasn't a big Yellowstone fan. I don't like shows with underlying like political agendas, and I want escapism. I want to get away from, that type of thing. But I know Yellowstone was apparently a decent show. I didn't get into it. So does anybody have a school in the area that wants to host a 50 and over open mat? We're getting a brutal winter up here. Every day when I wake up, there's a dusting of snow outside at the very least. Oh, I've had all kinds of injuries, the worst. That's why I'm on this channel, so people don't get all the injuries that I've gotten. I've gotten a hernia. I've gotten a broken rib, broken foot, broken wrist, knee issues, torn shoulders. And it was all from, being a knucklehead when I was in my late 30s. All my major injuries came before I was 40. Most of them, 90%. So it's funny, as I became more fragile, I started being injured less as I started using jiu-jitsu, I guess. So yes, I've had bad injuries. The shoulder was the worst, by the way. Like I said before, X Marshall, if you want like shorts and no-gi stuff, X Marshall, I think, is the king. They have every kind of rash guard, not just mine. And their shorts are very high quality. Like I have the open mat rash guard. I have the one that I used for the thumbnail for this video. Gis, I love, again, King's Kimono. I mean, there's a lot of good gis. Scramble. Yeah, Florida's a great place, man. Yeah, jiu-jitsu. I've been watching him for, I can't believe that I'm a YouTuber. I've been watching him for so many years. Yeah, well, not really, Chris. I'm sorry. You know what? You're a 2-stripe white belt, and getting run over, especially by athletic people, you're not going to have a smooth, relaxed game because you don't really know much yet. How to slow them down? I don't know if slowing them down is what you want. I think with spazzy guys or whatever, just let them pass your guard and work on your escapes. I think a lot of the injuries happen when someone's trying to pass your guard and they're going berserk. Yeah, inverted is cool. I mean, I don't know who he is, but yeah, I like inverted gear for sure. Yeah, I mean, hopefully now that I'm doing these live streams, someone will invite me. I'll come, I'll do a seminar, I'll do a guest instructor, If anybody wants to invite me, I don't want to really invite myself. I do have a few schools actually that I want to visit that I've spoken to. So I do have a couple. I don't think I'm coming to Paris anytime soon, but thank you. If I did, I would love to. Shouting into the void. Yeah, I'm going to be doing this weekly. Thank you, Chris Henry. Yeah, I think I've seen someone with the Progress ski. Yeah, Phalanx is pretty cool. I do not do any BJJ training at home outside of watching videos. And when I'm on the couch, I sit in a way that stretches out my butterfly guard and I kind of work on my flexibility. Yo. Just try not to put your weight down on people like when you're 220 pounds, unless they're your size. Yeah, so you don't want to like you don't want people to be avoiding you, right? Because there's guys like you, not like you specifically, but there's big guys that I avoid sometimes because they're punishing. When you roll with them, they really put their weight on you and, look to punish you. So as long as you have a good attitude and you kind of learn how to be a gentle giant and learn the movements instead of just becoming more athletically jiu-jitsu oriented And then you're just beating people with your athleticism. And then one day you get a black belt and your whole game is athletic. And you're not going to have a lot of knowledge to pass on. So I don't know if I went off on a tangent there. But just don't let all your weight come down on them. You like sometimes when I'm rolling with someone, if I hear them grunt, like if I go, "Are you all right?" Like before I continue smashing, so to speak. Yeah, Codell, at my academy, everyone's a giant. Everyone, and when a new guy starts, he's a giant. So it's like, I told him, I go, we have to have a drive to get women over 50 that are under 130 pounds. I'm just kidding. But it is the land of the giants, no doubt. And not only that, they're all blue-collar giants, so they're all tough. My favorite, I don't do like favorites. I love Marcelo Garcia. There's so many. Gordon Ryan. I mean, who's the best? I mean, there's so many. I couldn't even, I wouldn't know where to start. I have a lot of favorite practitioners. I used to like Cobra Hina years ago. A lot of instructors are small. 100%. Actually, it's funny. Yeah, even Mike Codell is kind of small. Now that you say it, I never really thought about it, but he's not a big guy like a, "Hey, Radical Trivia, how you hanging?" I did Radical Trivia's podcast, if you guys aren't familiar. Yeah, don't sweat it, man. Don't sweat the belt so much. You'll get there, believe me. Before you know it, 10 years goes by and you're a purple belt or a brown belt. You'll be fine. Just keep training. Thanks for coming out, Radical Trivia, and always being supportive from years now. Thank you, man. I don't know. I'm honored to be anyone's favorite channel. I don't know if you're telling me that just to be nice to the old man. That's a good question. My two BJJ mentors, well, you wouldn't know. I mean, there's been a few, but more than I can name. As far as instructors, I learned a ton from Marcos Tinoco. He has his own channel called the Big Os, and he's a multi-time world champion, Marcelo black belt. I've learned a lot from him. There's too many to name from that have helped me out along the way. Thanks, Radical Trivia. I appreciate that. And congrats on your promotion. Yeah, I have a couple of podcast episodes. If you look in my podcast section, and I've done some interviews. I kind of like this better than the podcast. Or maybe we'll do like a live like this where I'm talking to someone live and then you guys can ask them questions as well. Thank you, Larry Bird. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That really helps. And I love to know that, like, I'm preventing or I'm helping prevent injuries, not just from you guys, but from guys that are 25 years old. I mean, if they can watch your channel and learn to go easy from when they start out, they're going to have a much better time. I have not trained in Vietnam. I did train in Japan 5 years ago, and I plan on going at Carpe Diem. And I plan on going back, soon, and I'm going to be training in Vietnam for sure. My school has beginner classes. It depends on the school. Well, you know what happens? Beginners come in droves. So all of a sudden you have a bunch of beginners, and then you don't, right? And then you have everybody's a higher belt. I remember there was a period like that at my school. There wasn't a lot of white belts, but there was tons of other belts. And then when a white belt would start, I kind of almost feel bad for him, because he's coming to class and everyone's a killer already. Yeah, brother, me and you. Now, there's plenty of, I think that you'll see more and more of that, of promotion of relaxation for sure. I don't wear a cup or a mouth guard, but I should definitely wear at least a mouth guard, and I want to buy one. Jordan does jiu-jitsu. If you watch his channel, he got hit in the face recently, and his front tooth went behind the other front tooth. He had to go for surgery. He broke his palate. It was a whole disaster. So I recommend wearing a mouth guard. Yeah, I mean, I don't wear one, but I should, and I'm gonna get one for sure. What else, guys? We're at 1 hour. I'm going to cut it. Radical Trivia, you got one last question. I'm going to give it to you. 100%, Andy. Yeah, Emily, send me the link, maybe on Instagram. Hey, if everybody can follow me on Instagram, Jits over50. I post a lot of stuff up there, and I'm also on Facebook. I don't do anything to protect my ears. I'm lucky. As you can see, my ears are very like flat to my head. Like any damage on my ear is not from jiu-jitsu. But yeah, so see how they're flat? If you have ears that stick out like this, then you need to wear headgear. Otherwise, you're going to have cauliflower ear, and it's not cool. Yeah, I work out. I do hiking. I do electric skateboarding. I work out with weights 4 times a week since last February. Okay, Dan, I'll look into that. I like your, I always take your advice. Yeah, brother, you live so far away, Radical Trivia. I looked at it. It's like, it's a mission to get out there. Yeah, you got to control the legs when your face is in that area. If you're leaning forward, you know, and you could get kicked in the face. I tell people it's my fault. I don't have a TikTok. I know. I don't want to. I don't want to get sucked into it. I'm in Staten Island, New York. Thank you, Radical Trivia. Yeah, I don't know what this obsession is, you know, with saving TikTok and everything. To me, it just seems like it's causing a lot of divisiveness in our society. You know, like Facebook too. You say something, you comment, then this bot, a fake account comes on, says something that just antagonizes you, you know, and they do, and it goes in both directions, and it has the whole country, you know, the whole world fighting. You're welcome, Andy. All right, guys, I'm going to log off. Runner, who is this? Do I know you? I think did we talk already? I lived in Dyker Heights before I moved to Staten Island. The Rolling Dead. I'll check it out, Emily. And thank you. Thank you for always supporting. Right. All right, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for coming out. Happy New Year, everyone. And I'll do another one. This is very exciting. And this will be up to be replayed. So thank you. I'll see you guys soon. I don't know how to end it. God bless. Thank you all.